Hello everyone! Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're going to continue with Wachumeqimeqi Deliveries. This time we're going to be taking on the, which one are we doing again? The one that does for Carpenter, Leatherworker, and Weaver. Let's not dilly-dally anymore. I gave my introduction on what this thing was last time, so let's just head on over to the next shop we need to help. I think they should be right here, yes. Pameka. Pameka, the Scrivener. Pameka's gaze is fixed upon you. A very warm welcome to you, artisan from afar. Brilliant, was it? You stand before Epistles? Is that how you say it? Probably. Epistles by Pameka, and I'm going to get annoyed if I don't look it up. Epistle? Okay, that's like a scribe person. Oh, it means letter. Okay. That makes sense.
Epistle.
Epistle. Okay, there's no T. It's not T is silent. Good, I'm glad I looked that up. We stand before Epistles by Pameka, and I am Pameka herself. Charmed though I am by your interest in my shop, I would like to confirm one matter. Tell me, can you read? Tell me. Maybe? I don't know if my character can. I live for literature. Of course, writing on the other hand. Trolley script? I doubt it. Yeah, let's go with that one. That makes most sense. Meaning you can read Eorzean script? Then you should have little trouble here. Trolley borrows the Eorzean alphabet, and you will find our language share numerous similarities, like how a lot of the letters look very similar to English, and yet they look completely different, but then you can somehow still read some of the words. We of Tuliolol speak Trolley with aplomb, probably, yet it is a comparatively young language, as our traditional tongue places emphasis on oral storytelling over the written word. We have a sizable population of citizens who do not read or write. Interesting, okay. My services cater primarily to this clientele. I offer a writing hand when occasion demands, mostly for penning letters or official documents. However, I have just recently received a commission for something larger, a book of stories. Yeah, that's just slightly larger. These are tales which have never been committed to text, a documentation of oral storytelling. A most riveting prospect, is it not? That is interesting. And yet, alas, I find myself ill-prepared. While I possess paper required for simpler documents, I have no experience in binding tomes. Oh, and that's where the craftswoman part comes in. I guess that's why it's Weaver, Leatherworker, and Carpenter, because those would be the kind of skills you would need for bookbinding. Yet, with the skill of an adept Carpenter at hand, I'm currently equipped as a Carpenter. I wonder if that would change if you were equipped with Weaver or Leatherworker. I could accept this task with my head held high. What say you, traveler? Will you help me tie these tales together? Well, I don't think I can say no, so fear not, I'll cover you. 'Cause books. A job's a job. Let's do it. Much obliged. Then let us report to our client and officially accept his request. His name is Wachumeqimeqi, and he works at Zebrev Tier, the restaurant by the beach. I'll need a moment to close up shop, so would you go ahead and wait for me? Okay, sounds good to me. You needn't wait for me. Go on ahead and introduce yourself to Wachumeqimeqi at Zebrev Tier, Zaboliv Tier. There's an L in there. Wouldn't surprise me if that's silent too. Alright, let's head on over to XB, or XT, whatever I ended up calling it. I think I had a nickname for it when we were there, originally. Okay, there's our client. Hello, sir. Here you got some good stories. Ah, Pameka. Welcome. Good evening, Zemoweni. I am pleased to say that we are ready to undertake your commission. Brilliant here will be binding your books, and my intuition tells me that none would be better suited to the endeavor. You got some pretty good intuition there, Pameka. That's excellent news. The more the merrier. But where are my manners? My name is Zemoweni. I'm relatively new to Tuliolol, but I've been earning my keep as a waiter here since I arrived. Someone has to serve the booze. Sabalyev Tir is a haven for travelers from every region. If there's one thing I've learned in my short time here, it's that everyone's got a story to tell. From myths and legends to folktales and anecdotes, our patrons share their nigh endless supply of unique and fascinating tales. Inevitably, one regular or another will badger me into retelling an old favorite, so I try to memorize as many stories as are told. But memory has its limits, and I'm afraid the details from so many different narratives might eventually become jumbled or forgotten, which is why I thought to record them in a book for all to enjoy. Of course, my people pass down our traditions via spoken word, so I neither read nor write. Pameka may be an exception among Tonawatan in that respect. Zemoweni will tell his stories, and I will transcribe his words, no different than the dictation of a letter, except perhaps a bit longer. I also thought I might study my letters while you're both hard at work. I'd like to be able to read the books we make, after all. You should join us during the transcription if you'd like. Hearing each story might serve as inspiration for its binding. They're fascinating stories all. I can't wait to see them as books. Sure. Good thing I brought my earplugs. When would you like to begin? My schedule is relatively open right now, so I'm available whenever you please. Then I'll pay your stall a visit once I've finished my shift. It shouldn't be too long now. So I wonder if each one of the quests is going to have a story for us to read out. As soon as my shift is over, I'll pay you both a visit at Pameka's stall. Until then... Alright, let's head back to Pameka's stall. And then, are we gonna actually get the full story, like I said? Actually, first we gotta finish up this first quest. Okay, Pameka. We will have our transcription session here. I have ready plenty of parchment and ink, so you needn't to worry about that. This reminds me of, so in a lot of, like, societies nowadays, or at least for most, like, first world societies, it's pretty much, because of the modern education and everything, basically everyone can read and write. But really, that wasn't a thing until, like, the 30s in the US. So, like, it's somewhat new for everybody to just be able to read and write and not have to have services like this. Because I'm also thinking in, like, the Way of Kings in Stormlight Archive, where it's like the women's role to be like the knowledgeable and educated, and it's like considered feminine to be able to read and write. So that I'm finding this is a bit interesting, because this is because even in Eorzea, pretty much everyone seems to be able to read and write, or at least be able to read. But there's no sort of like mandated public education. So how do people just learn? Is that just how their cultures are? Anyway. It's interesting to see that, it's interesting to actually consider this as the, I just find this plot to be interesting, considering how much we take for granted that everybody's just able to read and write. However, there are still a few more preparations to make before Zemowenny's arrival, and your own business may call you elsewhere in the meantime. Stop by again when you are ready to begin. Alright, then we get some pretty good Endwalker food, although I'm not going to use it. CP control is pretty nice. Epistles by Pameka. Wachumeqimeqi deliveries unlocked. You may now undertake deliveries from Epistles by Pameka. Speak with Pameka to learn more. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and start the next quest. Hanu Opportunities. Pameka's quill is primed and ready. You seem eager to start, and I'll admit, so am I. According to my research, we'll require numerous components. Boards, covers, woven cords, the list goes on. Furthermore, a binding can be made of nearly anything. Wood, cloth, leather, the possibilities are endless. Well, that's why it's carpentry, weaving, and leatherworking as the 3 jobs you can do for this. I'll leave the particulars to you and your artistic tastes. Once you have enough materials prepared, we will be ready to document Zemowenny's tales. Alright, so what are we going to need to make first? I didn't actually look at what the materials were. We now undertake deliveries for Epistles by Pameka. By delivering the acquired items from Pameka, raise yourself in your esteem. You'll be able to buy new stories by Zemowenny. Yep. Items of higher collectability, greater rewards. Yeah. Alright, so what are we making here? Let's see, it should be under side quests. No. Class quests. I clicked on the wrong one. Yes, there it is. Wachumeqimeqi. Uncheck this. And uncheck that too. There we go. Okay, yeah. Cover components. You know, I was seeing when I was gathering the materials for this, I saw cover components. And it didn't occur to me that it meant book covers. Anyway, I have most of the materials in my inventory, but I need to get these from... Yeah, I have plenty of those there. And I think I have plenty of the cloth to make this stuff. And I have plenty of the logs to make this. So let's see what raw materials I'll need for this. So we gotta make 6 of them. So we need to get 30 integral logs and 30 the cotton balls. Let's grab those from the retainer. Okay, the logs should be right here. Yes, let's get 30 of these. And 30 of these. And that should be all we need. Oh no, I forgot to get the leather from my other retainer. Should be right... There it is. Let's get 30 of these. Oh, I don't need 30, I only needed 6. Yeah. Okay, let's switch over to... Or no, let's do the logs first because I'm already on Carpenter. I think on the last one I ended up rolling 6 high quality quick crafts in a row. I don't know the exact percentage for high quality on quick crafts, but it's something like 10 or 20%. So getting 6 in a row is pretty crazy. Okay, so we need... Let's do this. Yeah, 6 more of these. I'll make sure to put back the leather before we... You know, I'm gonna stay as a leather worker because that seems the most fitting for crafting, for doing bookbinding in my opinion. Like, I can understand, like, carpenter, for sure, you could make the book covers from wood. And even weaving, you can do... I can see cloth book covers, or, like... I guess carpenter would fit more if you're doing, like, paperback covers. Because you could say that paper, since paper is basically just really thin wood in a way. Okay, let me go ahead and put back, 24 of these, because we only need 6 of them. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and craft up the cover components. Oh, that's not it. There we go. Now these are, as I showed in the last part, these are relatively easy crafts. It's only the very last one that actually takes much thinking to do. So I'll just go ahead and do the oh yeah, especially since you can just use train die on it for the first one because it's level 90. If you're level 100, of course. Oh, that's not going to be halfway, is it? Oh yeah, it is. Perfect. So if I'm going to need to do 3 abilities, if Veneration isn't going to finish off the groundwork, then I should just go ahead and do 2 groundworks. And basically, you only should use Veneration here if you won't make it in 2 groundworks. high quality components won't matter on this. Because of course we can just quick craft it with train dye. Train dye is really satisfying to use. Also, I just used veneration twice. I'm not paying attention to what I actually do, but it's not like I need to. Okay, we got one more, I think. Nope, that was all 6 of them. Started into Pameka, and I made sure to clear out my purple scripts before we started this time, because last time I ended up needing to stop in the middle to spend them. Yeah, we did the same thing before. My word! I knew you were an accomplished leatherworker, but your craftsmanship has surpassed every expectation. The finished product will be a sight to behold. In making first successful delivery, you have begun to earn Pameka's trust. Deliver items Pameka needs, deliver often, and deliver item... Oh, deliver them off. I thought deliver item often. I'm like, what? That's not right. Divine Zemoeni's tales and captivating tomes. Yep. Except I did all 6 in one go, so I don't know what you mean by often. Okay, we're not gonna actually get the actual story. Oh no, we are. We just need to sit down first. Now then, whenever you're ready, Zemoeni, we may begin. I don't know how she's gonna write stuff down considering there's no paper in front of her. I think I'll start with a famous tale that has been passed down across generations of the Hanu. That's why we made the Hanu cover components. It's a tale of their beloved god and the crop that would enrich their very way of life. Oh look, she magically got some paper. Oh, I guess we're not getting the full story. Oh no, we are. Okay. Long, long ago, the Hanu resided in a land beyond the clouds. Though their heavenly home was frigid, their enemies were few, and they whiled away their days dancing in the pale warmth of the sun. Oh yeah, I know that dance. Also, it's very clearly the sea of clouds in the background. But one day, a great storm ravaged their clear blue skies. The wind and rains raged upon these lands so fiercely, it sent a pair of Hanu tumbling down to the waters below. Yet what should appear but a giant bird, as big as an island. It flew up and caught the Hanu upon its back. Valgarmonda? The kindly bird sailed upon the winds, over the great blue ocean, until finally, it came to a land kissed by dawn. The land we call Tyrol. Haha, kissed by dawn because Dawn Trail. The couple was grateful to stand on solid ground again, but their journey had exhausted them, and their energies were spent. They searched high and low for something to fill their empty bellies, and it was there they found the great bird once again, feasting upon verdant reeds. The Hanu followed suit. One taste of the sweet reeds filled them with vigor, and their feathers began to glisten with every color of the rainbow. Wait, is that why... Does this have something to do with the, like, rainbow mountains we saw over in the Yokoi area? And was that Valgarmonda? I doubt it was actually Valgarmonda. There's probably other big birds in lore that I'm forgetting about. It was then that the couple knew this great bird to be known as the god Kixi-Ihi. Oh right, I learned to pronounce. When I'm trying to record a thing for sightseeing points, and this was actually one of the things that they mentioned in one of the descriptions. They tended the reeds in its honor, and their brood would grow and prosper, becoming the Hanu we know today. So they all share one common ancestor. Doesn't sound like there's very much genetic diversity. How have they not have constant mutations? And the paper's gone. What do you think so far, Brilliant? Have you any inspiration for a suitable cover? How about a big giant bird? Splendid! I suspect Zemoweni will have a few more Hanu stories to tell before we conclude here. We ought to construct our cover in the meantime. And she suddenly got paper again. Oh, it's behind the desk. That makes more sense. I already crafted them. Why are we crafting again? With your painstakingly prepared materials, you produce a cover benefiting Zemoweni's first batch of tales. Oh, right. We made the cover components. We didn't actually craft the cover. You carefully bind Pameka's pages into the fold, and the tome is complete. Bookbinding is actually pretty interesting. I've seen at least a couple videos on that. It did more like a binder with just a couple strings in the center instead of doing like a full, like glued in binding. It's a real book. I may not be able to read it yet, but just looking at it fills me with joy. Books are remarkable things. Yes, they are, indeed. Stories told in speech alone will disappear with their tellers. But what is written is promised to survive, unless you burn them, like a lot of people seem to want to do these days. And for quite a while, actually. But that's my own romanticism showing through. More importantly, I greatly enjoyed your storytelling, Zemoweni. All 2 lines of it. About the Hanu who once lived above the clouds, yeah, because we met them. I'm glad I could learn more about the Hanu mythology. Yeah, let's do that. The first one's gonna be like, oh yeah, I met those people. The god's name was Kixihi, correct? If I'm not mistaken, the Landsguard crest also depicts a great avian creature. Perhaps it has some relation, or it could be Valagrabanda. If you enjoyed those tales, I know plenty more like them. For example, the ones I heard the other day from a Pelu patron were fascinating. Theirs is a people with a talent for words. I mean, they're the salesmen, so... Also, I just realized, how does she get out from behind the desk? Does she just hop right over? Oh no, I guess there's enough room on the sides there, never mind. I'll have to practice ahead of time if I'm to do them any justice. Please do. We'll be happy to hear them whenever you feel ready, and whenever Beryllian comes and accepts the next quest. And so ends our first job. You are a pleasure to work with, Beryllian, and I have a feeling you'll continue to impress. Oh yeah, I bet I will. Let's get our crystals. That should be more than enough to be able to not run out. Because I know a lot of people say like, oh yeah, I just send my retainers out to get crystals for me. I was like, no, I'm usually sending them out to get materials. But like whenever I'm crafting, and it's like, you don't have the required materials to craft this item. I'm like, yeah, I do. What are you talking about? And then I notice I'm out of crystals. And I just go over to the market board and just drop a quick 70k to buy 1,000 or a couple thousand crystals. They end up adding up really quickly because I end up just buying like stacks of 1,000. Pameka is pleased with your efforts. She now considers you a cover collaborator. Alright, let's go ahead and start the next one. This little Pelu. Pameka is prepared for a Pelu yarn. Yeah, I believe a yarn is another word for a story. Greetings, Beryllian. If you're ready to proceed with our next cover, I have an idea I'd like to share. Zemoweni said he had a Pelu tales to tell us next, correct? In which case, I thought using materials sourced from the Pelu's ancestral home of Rukopacha might give our cover an authentic touch. A book about any given peoples should look at home amongst them, or so I think. Then it's settled. I trust you'll know what local materials we need. Yeah, that's why I look in my crafting log to see what I'm supposed to get. Alright, what materials do we need? I mean, I already have them in my inventory, so... Yep, and actually I have one extra snow cotton cloth here. Let's go ahead and get crafting. Yeah, we can't train die craft this one, unfortunately. But we can do... Let's start off with muscle memory. I'm going to use final appraisal and then veneration groundwork. Oh wait, I was supposed to use trained... Okay, well it's good that I did final appraisal. But I was supposed to use trained perfection there to save some on material cost. Okay, let's go ahead and do innovation. And since I have a good craft, I'll go ahead and do this. Oh, oops. That's right. Got that a little bit backwards. Okay, let's go ahead and do 3 preparatory touches. And I think I only need like 2, especially since I just got a good proc. Oh yeah, just do God's Blessing and we'll be good. Okay, now let's not mess this one up. I mean, I didn't mess it up, it was just like, whoops. Okay, train perfection. I'm gonna do final, just do a groundwork and not do veneration, see how high it gets. Oh yeah, I don't need veneration for that. Let's go ahead and do waste not. I don't really need innovation. Let's do 2 of these, and then I'll do I don't think I need to do great strides, but I'll do it anyway. Yeah, that's more than enough. Yeah, so I'll skip great strides on the next 4. I still do need final appraisal though to make sure I don't overcap with groundwork. Okay, and then we'll just do 2 preparatory touches. And then I think I can do great strides by God's Blessing. Not quite enough. Okay, well I got a good proc, so I'll just do that. And then we're good. Okay, so I do need to use innovation, but I don't need to do waste not. Okay, now with this, because I still have the proc with the innovation, I should only just need to do a by God's Blessing. Yeah, okay, that's easy. Just enough. Okay, innovation, preparatory touch. Yeah, just barely enough. 1 more to go. Especially if we got a good proc like that, then we can just completely skip a step. Alright, that should be all 6 components. Yep, let's go and turn them in. We'll acquire local materials from Ukopacha for our book of Pelu tales. Did you find anything? Yep, here they are. And I'll probably end up capping out on scripts eventually. I think they might give you more than 4,000 scripts over the course of the thing, because you get more scripts as you progress through the quests. Oh ho! Your elegant use of snow cotton has not gone unnoticed. With it, your cover's bound to radiate Pelu's spirits. Ma'am, I know you spend all your time around books, but you might want to go talk to someone who, like, is alive and is human. Well, maybe not human. And can speak. You know, that isn't just a book. Alright, time to sit down for another tale. Yeah, she's got a desk back there. I know, I was complaining like, oh, where's her paper? Today, I'd like to share a few stories about the Pelu. These days, we know them to be avid travelers and seekers of profit. But this was not always so. Oh yeah, they were like slaves to the Yokoi, weren't they? Long before this nation was founded, the Pelu were reclusive folk who rarely left the solitude of Urukopacha. Man, you just keep writing on the same line. Now, in one solitary village, there lived a Pelu named Sibley. The poor lad was sickly and short of stature, even compared to his diminutive fellows. With such a frail constitution, Sibi could neither work in the fields nor tend to the alpacas. But the village loved him even so, and he loved them in turn. They nursed him back to health in his times of need and offered tasks that would not fatigue him. He only wished he could better serve them. Yet kindness cannot solve all ills, and in the year of the cold summer, crops withered upon the mountains of Urkopacha. The Pelu began to starve. I guess they're not going to talk about the history with Yokoi. They ate what remained of their food. They ate all their frail livestock. Sibley knew that they had reached their limits and snuck quietly from the village. With one less mouth to feed, his people would have more to eat. Finally, he had found a way to help. His mind made up, the poor Pelu made for the sacred mount that he might fade from this world in its silence. That was the first boss, if I recall correctly. As he began to climb, a spirit appeared and forbade him to go any further. Sibley begged the spirit to let him pass, and spoke about his village. The spirit was moved by the lad's fervent resolve, and bestowed unto him a handful of leaves. Return to your village, it said. Your people must drink of these leaves. Okay, and that's how they got their original mate leaves. Sibi obeyed and steeped the leaves in hot water. When his people drank, their hunger miraculously faded. No Pelu succumbed to famine, and they all lived to see the coming year. So it was that the Pelu's first encounter with mate T. Or some explorer came from overseas and they created this convoluted story instead. Either way, this is a bit more interesting. Another impeccable book. Thank you, both of you. What a peculiar story. Do spirits like that really exist? Yeah, let's go with the peculiar story. Of course, there's no telling whether it actually happened, but mate tea is rich in nutrients, and I've heard it's effective in relieving hunger as well. I mean, caffeine does stave off hunger, or at least the feeling of hunger. So maybe there's something in that? To me, the moral seems to lie in the virtue of caring for one another, that even in times of great difficulty, keeping others in your heart can lead to unexpected solutions. Maybe the CEOs should learn about that. Well, I'd better be off. I still have some reading and writing practice to do, but next time, I think I'll share some tales from our Moblin customers. See you then. Well, you heard the man. It seems we'll be in for plenty of entertainment yet. Keep your tools sharp. We'll have another project on our hands before we know it. Alright, more crystals. Esteem level increased. Pameka now considers you a beneficial binder. Oops, wrong button. Alright, let's go ahead and start the next one. Let's see if I'm clearing out my inventory. Nice. It'd be nice to be able to get this corner of my inventory a bit more clear. Then again, it's just going to get filled up with the bait that I have right here. Anyway, let's go ahead and start the next one. Oldton Roads. Pameka has moblins on the mind. Methinks you is crazy. Ready for more work? I was just thinking about the wonderful job you did with the Pelu tome. Not only did locally sourced materials enhance the binding quality from without, it served as an immersive preview of the myths within, and I intend to have us continue this trend. With Moblin Tales next on the agenda, we'll want to use materials from Kazoma Uka. Of course, the Hanu also make a home in that region, so take care to differentiate between their cultures. A tradeswoman of your discernment should have little difficulty, I'm sure. Let me know when you've prepared the components. Okay, sounds good. Go ahead and throw them together. You just work on those locally sourced materials. Okay, yep, got all 6 of them done. Let's go ahead and craft them up. So this one should be a little bit harder. but we'll start off the same way as we did on the rest of them. And let's go ahead and do final appraisal with veneration and see how much that does. Okay, that gets it all the way there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do waste knots, 2 preparatory touches. Okay, with great strides, that should be enough. Yes, okay. I didn't even look at the durability. I just, actually, let's try groundwork without veneration. Yeah, okay, I can just do that. I'll do waste knot with the innovation, 2 preparatory touches. Great strides. And Byregod's blessing. Yeah, that's more than enough, although I think I got a good proc. Okay, 4 more to go. Did I get a bad proc or something? I didn't see what happened there. Okay, let's just do 1 preparatory touch. That should be enough. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't watching to see what happened there. Yeah, I must have just like made some mistake or gotten like a bad proc or something. Or bad condition. Okay, that should wrap things up. Yep, that's all 6. Let's turn them in. Oops, let's actually read what she said. If we're to craft a suitable moblin cover, we'll require materials that capture the spirit of Kazoma Uka. I mean, like with a bunch of pots? Okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna cap out on scripts. Why, brilliant! You've outdone yourself! Ginseng wood is an exquisite choice. I feel more eager than ever to start transcribing. Of course it's raining. Good thing we're actually under the cover of the awning. As promised, today I bring a number of tales from the Moblins. Theirs is a unique culture, as varied as it is peculiar. Well, that's an understatement. Forgive me for interrupting, Zemoweni, but won't you be seated? Oh, pardon me. I meant to say something earlier, but at the restaurant, we usually recite our stories while standing. Is that so? Perfectly fine, of course. Just so long as you're comfortable. When I say the word moblin, what do you paint in your mind's eye? A moblin? A mask, a pack, and perhaps most notably, a pot. Nope, not necessarily. Probably gonna talk about the goblins of Eorzea. Yep. Once upon a time, a group of moblins grew tired of wandering the countryside. They wanted a place to call home, and so they settled down in the caverns deep beneath the earth. They scavenged for what they needed and packed their necessities into large clay pots. Their new home was happy and their pots were plentiful. Too plentiful. Soon their caves grew cramped and narrow. They took their packs and dug deeper, hoping to expand their domain. And expanded they did. Theirs would become one of the largest underground cities of its time. Yet their prosperity was short-lived. The Moblins dug their tunnels so deep and so far, they unwittingly breached the gap between land and ocean. Oh no. The muddy deluge devoured their city. Even their own masks turned against them, filling with water and threatening to suffocate them. In a desperate bid to escape with their lives, the Moblins threw themselves inside their pots and prayed they might see the coming dawn. The pots withstood the terrible tides, and once the Moblins clawed their way to solid ground, they swore never again to live beneath it. So it was that they built a new village in the jungle, fashioned their houses and workshops after the plots that saved both their lives and prized possessions. As for the city lost beneath the earth, though its location has long been forgotten, they say it slumbers still in some remote corner of Troll, the sunken city of Mavopolos. Is that like gonna be a dungeon at some point or something? Incredible! I feel it fits the image of the story perfectly. You mean by because Blue Ocean? I was moved by the Moblin's resilience. The desire for a safe and comfortable home resonated with me, sure. A relatable sentiment indeed. It is in our very nature to seek out safety and comfort, after all. Many old trolley stories tell of how our peoples first came upon their current homes. The Hanu tale I shared previously was much the same. My family loves sharing those sorts of tales. What about you, Pameka? Uh-oh. I mean, didn't we literally establish that her family, that she is an oddball out of the Tonawatan people? Like, who can, about being reading and writing? I was born and raised in Tuliolol, so I've never given my ancestry much consideration. I never thought to ask. How many stories have I failed to hear? And about my own ancestors, no less. It seems I have my own digging to do. If there are untold tales out there, then I wish to know about them. And I would love to hear them, or even read them, perhaps. I've grown more competent in my letters these days, so I'm keen to practice with some more stories. I hope you find what you're looking for. I don't know how you are learning within like 5 minutes, you're learning all your letters, but okay. Alright, let's wrap this one up. Got even more crystals. I think I might go and dump some more of the, Actually, hold on, let me see how many of those abrasives, or whatever they're called, I need for the remaining, items I need for my crafting and gathering sets. Pameka is overjoyed with your efforts. She now considers you a talented tale binder. New quests, the story of the Epistles of Pameka now available. One exclamation, the Wachumeqimeqi Deliveries. Yeah. Okay, so I need 59 more. Okay, I can just go ahead and dump the scripts on those, because I've got 15 right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and start the next quest. Written in stone. Pameka's determined expression suggests she has a plan. After hearing Zimaweni's talk of ancestral tales, I can't help but wonder what my own family may have preserved from generations past. I've nearly finished my work for today, so I'll close up shop and go to speak with my parents. They should be able to point me in the right direction, even if it requires an excursion beyond the city limits. Right, all these have some, special quests in the middle where you don't just do some regular crafting and then they give you the materials to craft with. Should it come to that, your company would be much appreciated. I rarely leave the city, you see. Thank you. I'll plan to meet you at Waya Plaza once my family chat is finished. Once I close up shop, I'll see what I can glean from my parents. I'll meet you at Waya Plaza as soon as I'm done, okay? Let's go ahead and teleport to the closest A3 and meet up with Pameka, or I forgot her name already. Oh, okay, it's all the way up there. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. That's where the Tonawatan people are from, over by Shaloni. Anyway, let's go ahead and wait at the destination. Apologies for the wait. Yeah, I had to wait in the rain. Then again, I'm kind of used to it by now. My parents were happy to share what they knew about my ancestors. They said our family came to Tuliolol when the city was founded, so around my great-grandfather's time. We're originally hailed from Zaktrol, though beyond that, neither of my parents could say. I wondered if I might find some clues of mementos buried in the family storehouse. As luck would have it, I chanced upon a mysterious stone tablet inscribed with glyphs. Judging by its age, it may well have belonged to my great-grandfather himself. We know he was employed as a palace attendant, but he never divulged more of his work than that. Do the glyphs resemble those of the Tuliolol saga? That's interesting. Perhaps the Yokoi would be able to read it. Yeah, let's start with that, except those mean the same thing. They do seem to be an example of Yokoi's pictorial storytelling, just like the pillars in Maro's Measure. Although I believe the Tuliolol saga was illustrated more to Momoja tastes. Why don't we pay the Yokoi a visit then? Perhaps someone will be kind enough to translate the tablet for us. Would you accompany me to Warlord's Echo, Beryllian? Sure. Wonderful, then let's be off. Except that you had me go to the north side of the city, and now we need to go to the south side. Oh well. Let's go ahead and head over to Warlord's Echo. And that sends us to the wrong place. I wanted to take that boat. Oh well. Let's go up to Warlord's Echo. You know, as soon as I clicked on the guy, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't the right way. Okay, so let's go ahead and meet up with Pameka. Is that her? Yes, it is. I was gonna say, how did she get here? But, like, it's a pretty clear path from the dock, so... So this is where the Yokoi live. Already, I can see glyphs carved in the same manner as my tablet. I believe we're on the right track. Let's have a look around and see if we can't find someone willing to help. I'll let you take the lead. You have far more practice in communicating with the Yokoi than I do, after all. I'm also a bit taller and slightly less intimidated by them. Okay, then you're gonna follow us around. Let's go ahead and head over to the person on the right first. Also, you're gonna have to run pretty fast, Pameka, if you want to keep up. Or you can just phase out of existence. That works too. Hello, young Yokoi. Have you seen something like this? Your ancestor's tablet. I can only spare a moment, but I'm glad to oblige. Relatively new, dated just 80 years past. The bearer of the stone is a retainer of the Dawn Servant and may thus be accommodated as a guest. Residential permit, it would seem. In those days, the scars of war were still fresh. One could not travel as freely as today, so the tablet may have been a necessary precaution. Interesting. Let's go ahead and head over to this person over here, you know, not by the wall. Gotta go around. I guess in that case, I'll head over to the... No, I'll just go over to this person here. Severe Yokoi. All this way for a tablet? How very quaint. Fine, hand it over. From Tuliolol. Yes, well, let's skip the obvious parts. Here we have the creation of a new alphabet by a traveling man, a learner of Trolley cultures. Makes little sense to me, but that's what it says. How nice. You are very severe, sir. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure to hit this talking point up here. And we'll go ahead and talk to the last person. Let's see, there it is. Hello, go further. Haven't seen you in a while. They say this is where Valgrimondo was sealed. Yeah. The tales these walls could tell of the Sky Ruin. But every building has a story to tell, if you think about it. Take ancient ruins, for example. Scholars have spent centuries piecing together the stories of ancient civilizations from beneath the rubble. Even without the written word, we can still weave a tangible history. Though I simply can't imagine a world without writing. Okay, nerd. Let's go ahead and talk to this last person. Seems like he's a bit drowsy though, so we'll try and wrap this up quickly. Read something. Of course. But do keep in mind, I'm in dire need of a nap. Heh. Looks like the original owner of this tablet shared your keen interest in our glyphs. He came here to hold council with our stonemasons. All Yokoi learn to write, but they are the experts who etch the histories into stone. As far as our guests learned from the stonemasons, I couldn't say. Too sleepy. Now to piece together the full story. My great-grandfather received permission to live among the Yokoi in his capacity as the Dawn Servant's retainer. He was traveling the continent of Tyrol in order to create a new alphabet, and he expressed eager interest in Yokoi's glyphs. Since the tablet itself is relatively new, perhaps we can still find a stonemason who spoke with my great-grandfather 80 years ago. Shall we go and see? Okay, is this gonna have different stuff, or is this the same one? No, okay, same thing. Let's head on over to the orange circle. The very convenient orange circle. Okay, where are we heading here? Where is the thing I need? With Pameka accompanying you, search for the Yokoi stonemason. Oh, there they are. There he is. Sir, you may be big, but you're standing behind the big stone. I mean, I guess he is a stonemason. Why, yes. I've served as a stonemason these 80 years. How can I help you? Yes, I remember. Not too long after Tuliol's founding, a man bearing this tablet came to stay with us. So my great-grandfather really did come here. To study Yokoi glyphs, yes? Do you remember why? He was developing a new alphabet, as I recall. Wanted to transcribe the Turali we speak today. He invented the alphabet, that's interesting. Back then, Gul Jaja had only just succeeded in creating a united Tuliolol. Peoples from diverse nations amassed at the capital, and the ensuing linguistic misunderstandings caused no little amount of trouble. Interesting, okay. So he basically created a national language and an alphabet. As your great-grandfather told it, when the common language of Turali was adopted, he proposed that a new alphabet be created to accompany it, and that the Dawn Servant turned him down in favor of adapting foreign characters. Interesting, okay. Not only that, but the Dawn Servant then ordered him on a journey of Tyrol, upon which he was to study the continent's myriad cultures. After touring a number of communities, he stopped here to understand our ways. What he wished to learn wasn't simply how to read our glyphs. He asked tirelessly about our intentions when shaping the stone, how we decide our designs, and each step in the process of sculpting. Then one day, your great-grandfather turned to us and said he finally understood the Dawn Servant's reasons for rejecting his proposal. Soon after, he returned to Tuliolol full of new confidence. I had no idea my great-grandfather had such direct dealings with Gulu Jaja. But I believe I understand why they both concluded that a new alphabet wasn't necessary. Is that so? Then tell me, child, why do you think that is? Trolley is a language that existed solely for purposes of communication. It has no cultural connection to any one of Troll's peoples. But a new alphabet would have been a communal creation, a new piece of Trolley culture that might have had the power to overwrite others. That seems a bit much, but okay. Borrowing the foreign Eorzean alphabet allows Trolley to remain a borrowed language, a language of convenience. Yeah, that seems a little bit silly, but okay. By refusing to establish Trolley as a language created by and for all Trolley people, the Dawn Servants sought to protect our cultural diversity. Again, that's a bit silly, but okay. I understand what they're going for. That is why I think he rejected the proposal. Child, you have weird ideas. He just didn't like it. After my great-grandfather traveled the land and arrived here to see your glyphs, he must have finally realized the full significance of his alphabet and the beauty we might stand to lose because of it. This tablet must have meant a great deal to him. It seems you two now carry on your great-grandfather's discovery and his story. You're right. My grandfather's story. A story of my people. I must pen this tale right away, Brillian. Might I ask you to bind it for me? If you provide the materials, sure. Your books are far too small and unwieldy for us, but I am curious to see what you create. Oh, don't worry, it'll be nice high quality. I want this book to represent the significance of my great-grandfather's connection to the Yokoi culture, so binding it with the local stone would be preferable. That's gonna be pretty heavy, but okay. You'll find plenty of that right here. Take as much as you need, except I'm not a stonemason. I'm a carpenter, and a leatherworker, and a weaver. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I never travel without pen and paper, but this time I even brought my portable desk, in case my search for stories proved fruitful. If you could prepare the binding while I write, I would be much obliged. And it doesn't do any sort of animation for her. Alright, let's go ahead and craft up the Yokoi cover. Let's just start off with the usual, train to perfection. I'm gonna go ahead and do a final appraisal, veneration, groundwork. Yeah, okay. Let's do innovation with 2 preparatory touches. And I should have used a waste knot there. Go ahead and do another preparatory touch. And that wasn't a good idea. It's going to do Immaculate Mend to get everything back. Do Buyer God's Blessing. That should be enough, right? No, not okay, let's just do Delicate Synthesis. That'll to finish it off. There we go. I also forgot to even check if I needed high quality, but for this, I think it's always going to be high quality. Because I think it's only some of the like ARR quests, or maybe Heaven's Word 2, where you only need to get normal quality. But like from then on, it's like, yeah, just do high quality. I want this binding to properly symbolize my great-grandfather's bond with the Yokoi. Take all the time you need, and return to me when your work is done. Well, my work is done, and I've returned. Interesting, okay. A written account of my own forebear's story. A precious book, indeed. I also included a text about the Yokoi, though using prose to depict your people felt somehow opposite? How do you spell this? Or how do you say this? Inapposite.
Inapposite.
Inapposite? Inapposite. Okay, not persistent, not pertinent, unsuitable. Okay, that makes sense. So I don't need team craft up anymore. Thus, I also included illustrations, clumsy though my hand might be. Pictures of the stone monuments and pillars. Things my great-grandfather must have seen. I see. In your own way, you honor how we Yokoi tell our stories with images. This is a very kind gesture. The written word cannot express all things. This is my great-grandfather's lesson. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, you know. You have been most gracious in your help. Thank you. I return to Tuliolol with a lighter and prouder heart. That was interesting. I didn't anticipate the events of 80 years ago would one day contribute to renewal of cultural exchange. But this must have been precisely what Guljaja envisioned for Tuliolol's future. I doubt it, but okay. Let's go ahead and teleport back to Tuliolol and head back to Pameka's shop. And then she's right around the corner. Hello, Pameka. My great-grandfather's story is now a part of my own. I would say our trip was well worth it. I think I'll lend Zemoweni the book we made, since he expressed an interest in practicing his skills on new tales. Besides, I think the illustrations might make for an easier reading experience. Maybe. It was his petition that started this whole project after all. I do hope he enjoys it. And I owe you my deepest thanks, Brillian. Not only were you kind enough to accompany me to Warlord's Echo, but you gave me perhaps your most stunning cover yet. Don't worry, we got 2 or 3 more of those to go. Now it's back to work with me, until Zimoweni's next appointment approaches. I wish you a pleasant crafting. Alright, now how many more of these do we need to go? Let's see, we just did the Yokoi supplies? Okay, we got 2 more to go. Reaching for the sky. Pameka is eagerly awaiting her next commission. Brilliant! Just the person I wanted to see. Our journey to Warlord's Echo gave us countless insights, don't you think? Into my own family history, the Dawn Servants' wish for this nation, and the myriad ways by which our diverse peoples tell their stories. I feel readier than ever to transcribe more tales from Zemoweni. Well, you two look happier than a pair of Vernick in the sun. Has something happened? Zemoweni, impeccable timing. I'm back from my journey of my ancestral discovery and bring with me a freshly penned tome of family tales. Might I persuade you to read it? It would be my honor. No better way than to put my reading skills to use. I'd also like to make improvements upon my writing, but I suspect it will be some time before I can pen anything like you can. Speaking of, a Mobile Jaw customer came in the other day and entertained us with some wonderful stories. Perhaps we can compile them in a book. Of course, we'll begin our preparations straight away. To cover our Mobile Jaw tome, we ought to include materials from Yaktel. In the meantime, I'll clean my pens and ready our parchment. Sounds good. Don't worry about me. I've got Pameka's book to keep me occupied while you make your preparations, okay? Let's see, what do we need to craft this time? Mobile Jaw components, of course. And I have plenty of these hides because I use these in the Grand Company deliveries, which I've almost done with all of them. I just need to do like another 10 days worth of the Immortal Flames, and then I'll have all of those achievements done. And then the only reason for me to turn them in is for, in the future, after I finish those, will be for GC seals and for if I want to get some XP for later expansions. Well, let's go ahead and craft up these components. Start off with muscle memory like usual. Train to perfection. I'll do veneration, and I don't think ground oak will finish it off. Correct. Let's go ahead and use waste not. Innovation. Do 3 preparatory touches. I might need to do 4. No, 3 preparatory touches, and then a great strides and then just a regular Biogod's blessing. Okay. Yeah, and then will this be enough? Yes, it is. Let me go ahead and get the materia from these. Also, yes, I still have some indicator stuff. I got the rings, but now I kind of regret getting the rings because they're not pentamelded. Basically, I need to, since I have these pentamelded, I actually lose a significant amount of stats by replacing them with the new jewelry. So what I need to do is like finish crafting the other 3, the earring, bracelet, and necklace. And then I will be able to, and then even with just 1 overmilled, the stats will be somewhat comparable. Now I could probably just get away with doing Biogod's Blessing or doing a Great Strides Biogod's Blessing there. And Biogod's Blessing. Alright, 3 more to go. There's 3. Biogod's Blessing. 2, 3. Biogod's Blessing. Careful synthesis. And then 1 more to go. Alright. That's all 6. Let's go ahead and turn them in. Oh, again, read the text. For this next tome, we will need materials from Yaktel, preferably from the Jatika Heartland. And then I already cleaned up the scripts on the last one, so we don't need to worry about that. What detail you've achieved in your craftsmanship. Forgive me for saying so, but your treatment of these Yaktel materials is the most impressive I've seen thus far. Bravo! Ahem. This tale was told to me by a mumbled jaw from the Dopro clan. The Dopro have long been known for their skill as mounted warriors, but their mounts were not only meant for warfare. This is an age-old history passed down through generations and generations. There once lived a Dopro youth, bound by the creed of his people, to seek a land blessed by sunlight. For this elusive paradise, they searched endlessly, fought endlessly. Compared to his warrior friends, however, the youth was ill-suited for battle. He and his weavery, I think that's right, were entrusted not with weapons, but a cart with which to deliver parcels. Oh, he's gonna do Mumblejaw deliveries. Or wait, what was the, what were the Arkasodara quests called? They had like a full name for them, whatever. Would that I could ride a winged mount, the youth thought. Upon it, he would breach the thick canopy of the forest and gaze upon the splendor of the sun. Day after day, he wandered the forest, hoping to tame a flying beast of his own. Yet his frail physique proved a burden. Again and again, he was thrown from the spirited creatures, until his comrades laughed to see his fruitless, dogged attempts. Still, the youth was determined, and after countless failures, he gained mastery over a beast known as Relmuzazal. He became the first of his people to sit astride a winged creature. Right away, the youth went to their aging parents and taught them how he achieved... What? Went to their aging parents and taught them how to... Okay. Then leaping upon Zazal, he took to the sky. Higher and higher he flew towards the canopy, until finally he disappeared. He never returned home again, and it is said he found the land of sunlight his people searched for. The techniques he left would be learned by all Dopro, and to this day, it is not uncommon to see riders upon winged mounts, basking in the sunlight upon the winds. Except we've literally never seen that. What an alluring azure hue, like the depths of a cenote untouched by sunlight, or the deep blue sky that the Dobro youth yearned for. A complicated and beautiful color, or maybe the, blue trees. What sort of impression did you get from the story, Brilliant? It sounded like his name is Icarus. I was glad the youth's valiant efforts paid off. I wonder if he found what he was looking for. Sure. Given the volatile setting of wartime, he might have been struck down by an enemy and simply lost among the trees. But that's hardly the ending I'd like to imagine. We may never be able to return to the past and discover the truth ourselves, but we can carry our feelings about them in a future they help create. Writing a book of tales does just that, I think. It entrusts our hopes and feelings to those who follow after. In other words, if no one carries on those hopes and feelings, they may be lost forever. Yeah? The stories that I've told you and you've penned, they are each filled with the history and aspirations of their respective peoples. But my people have not a single written record. Our oral tradition is utterly unknown to those outside our community. Were we to vanish one day, we could leave not a trace of our existence behind. Our stories would... Well, that's why we're writing them down. Zemoweni. Pardon me, my shift starts soon, so I should be off. Thank you for the lovely book. Well, that was kind of depressing. Esteem level increased. Pameka now considers you a binding authority. These jokes. Alright, let's go ahead and start off the last one. A place in the sun. Concern is writ plain on Pameka's face. Oh, brilliant! Zemoweni seemed troubled after our last session, didn't he? Yeah? I can't think why. He hasn't said a word about his next commission, and I fear he may have given up on our bookmaking endeavor. That seems like the opposite of what he should be doing. At first, he seemed so excited about sharing the stories he heard at Zabaliv Tier. I wonder how his recitations here differ from our transcription sessions. Care to take a walk with me, Brilliant? Sure. I mean, you're not a bun girl, but you sure are a bit cute. I mean, what? I think I should like to see Zemoweni's performance for myself. Very good. Does Zavalia Tier with us? Maybe we can get lunch too. I'd be halfway to Zabaliv Tier now, if I didn't need to close the stall. You go on ahead and see what Zemoweni's up to. I'll meet you there shortly. Like I said, she's not a bun girl, but she's not bad. I mean, what? Let's head on over to Zabaliv Tier. Okay, looks like he's probably on the bottom level. Just jump down these stairs. And there he is. Pameka, brilliant. Here for a drink, perhaps? Well, that does sound splendid. We were actually hoping to hear one of your famous recitations. Ah, then I'm afraid your timing is rather unfortunate. We usually wait until our seats are filled before having a tale. So not for some time yet. Oh, that just means I get to spend some more time with the Pameka. Oh, that's a shame. Then what about your next commission? As soon as we know what sort of tales you plan to tell, Brilliant can begin to assemble the necessary materials for your new tome's binding. About that. If you have no further tales you wish to share, far be it from me to insist. Don't worry, I still have plenty to tell. The thing is, when I learned of your discoveries, I decided I wanted our next story to be something from my own... Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. I was thinking he's like, oh, I don't want to share the stories anymore because I, don't know my own history and I'm going to do something irrational. Our tales are completely unknown to outsiders. Should our oral tradition ever reach its end, our hopes in history would vanish with it. Which is why I would preserve what I can with written record. That sounds like a wonderful idea, and yet you still seem conflicted. My people neither read nor write. Would creating a written book of their stories truly be understanding and honoring their legacies? Good point. Except that we saw that Pameka had recorded that Yokoi history in written words with some illustrations. When you put it that way, how might we properly convey the stories of a people unassociated with the written word? Let's make a book that can be read without words. So we're gonna make a picture book? Take a page from your great-grandfather's book. Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, that's literally what I kind of referenced before. And take a page we shall. I only just finished illustrating a book about the Yokoi. You don't need to know our written alphabet to read a story from illustrations. But we needn't stop there. What if we incorporated other materials into the book as well? Bird feathers and flowers. Things that harken to seeing, setting, and appeal to all senses. Oh, that's interesting, okay. We'll need to devise a way to preserve the materials we choose. But once we do, our readers will be able to immerse themselves in the story without a reliance on the written word. A book that appeals to all senses. I think that might work. I happen to have a few things you can use for the cover, and I can fetch more if you'll give me a moment. Well, sounds good to me. I mean, if you're going to give me the materials, I'm going to be more than happy to craft something for you. Then let us all reconvene back at my stall. Once you have the components for our cover, deliver them to me and we'll hear Zenoweni's tale. Alright, let's head back over to the stall and go ahead and craft up the thing we need. Let's see, we're making a Tonawatan cover component. That makes sense. Let's teleport back there. There they are. Let's talk to Zenoweni first. Our next book will be about my people, so I'd like the cover to incorporate materials from my homeland. If you run out, I've plenty extra. Well, I'd hope you do. But don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Let's do this, veneration, groundwork. Okay, and then I should be able to do, if I do a careful synthesis, I think it should be fine, but let's go ahead and do final appraisal just to be sure. Yeah, that's fine. In fact, I could probably go and do one more. Yep, okay. Now let's do waste not 2. And I'll probably want to do 3 preparatory touches, maybe even 4. Although since I got a good roll there, I could probably get away with doing... Let's do preparatory touch. Refill my durability. I mean, if I get a good proc, then I'll just go ahead and do that. And then I'll just do Byregot's Blessing. That should be enough, I hope. Yep. Okay. That one was easier. I actually messed up the other... On the last quest we did, or the last set of quests we did, I think I messed up that one, the last one, once. But we ended up getting that one. Let's go and turn it into Pameka. This time we need a binding for a tome that will awe its reader's senses. Do you have something ready? Yes, I do. Here it is. It was like just a little sack, though. I'm speechless, Berlian. These will make our finest cover yet. Of that, I have no doubt. Now, let's hear Zemowenny's story. It's gonna be how the hero came over from Asia or something. Or is there not actually gonna be a story for this one, which is gonna be kind of odd. I mean, why didn't I just get out my chair? Oh, never mind, I'm crafting. Okay, that's why you kneel down. What an amazing tome you've made. Careful script and illustration. Pieces of the natural world as they feature in my story. Reading this will be an unforgettable experience for anyone. I can't wait to take this home and show my family. Yeah, because they can definitely read it. I'm sure they'll be proud to see our stories reflected in such art. Somehow I doubt that. I mean, they're probably boomers or something. Why would you desecrate our tales by making them into words? You should perform it for all to enjoy. Can I come and hear you read it at Zebev tier? Hey, let's do the first one. That seems a little more subtle. Of course! That was my intention from the very start. I feel more confident than ever in my letters, so I plan to read aloud from this gorgeous tome, as opposed to reciting a memorization. In fact, I'd say our morning regulars will be flooding into Zebaliev tier soon enough. If you'd like, I can save a table for you. That would be splendid, Zemowenny. We'll be right behind you, so I do get the lunch date with the cute girl. I mean, what? Pameka, we better hurry up. I can't wait to see what Zebaliev Tier's customers think of Zemowenny's story. Go on ahead, I'll catch up shortly. I thought we'd go walk together, take a nice slow stroll through the town. Oh well. I'll meet her there, I guess. Time for her to stand us up. I mean, that's how it usually goes, right? Oh, I'll meet you there, yeah. Oh, Zemowenny. You're just in time. I've saved some room for you and Pameka over there. Relax and enjoy the show. Sounds good? Waiting. Oh, we got a full house. Can you hear that? People are telling all sorts of tales around us. A haven for storytellers indeed. Many here are regulars, but everyone is welcoming of fresh faces. Just so long as you're hungry for new stories sounds good to me. I mean, that's why I play these games. Hey lad, tell us a story, would you? A new one, if you've got it. That's not the accent I should use for him. Right away. I've got just the thing for you, and I think you'll all enjoy it. Okay, this is why they didn't show the story earlier. Okay. Ahem. Today I would like to share something personal with you all. Some of you may know that I come from a tradition of oral storytelling, and my people rely not upon the written word. However, should our voices no longer echo in future generations, I fear our very stories run the risk of extinction. Thus did I commission the Scrivener Pameka and traveling artisan Brillian with the creation of a book. Sorry, I'm too busy to listen. There's nachos there. This is the story of my people. May it warm your hearts like the sun upon the plains. 1,000 dawns ago, in the eastern reaches of Zaktaral, our ancestors lived upon a bountiful land. The soil was rich, and the wind carried with it seeds that flourished into healthy crops. But one summer, a great serpent of cloud coiled above our lands. Beneath its swollen body fell the rain, so endless that it drowned our crops and threatened to starve our people. "We must call for the sun," someone cried. So our people lifted their prayers to the sky, that they might summon the mighty light. But the serpent heard their voices with anger, lashing out with its tail and driving an even greater deluge down upon them. With their fields turned to rivers, our people departed in search of the sun. Day after day, they walked and walked, bearing their hunger and thirst until they could no longer. It was then they came upon a solitary cactus. "Chasers of the sun, take me with you. I too seek brighter lands. For your hunger and thirst, I offer my fruit. In return, sow my seeds upon the path and partake of what they yield." Our people sowed the seeds, and from them grew more and more cacti, each bearing fruit that gifted them strength. For 1,000 nights, they pressed onward, westward, planting the cacti and partaking of their fruit. Is this supposed to be the parallels to like the Johnny Appleseed tale about sowing and planting seeds across the US? Finally, they reached a wide land of sunlight. The cacti grew strong and plentiful beneath the golden rays and spoke to our people once more. Oh, is this going to be the Tender Valley stuff? "You have our gratitude, children of man. This is the land we long dreamed of. Today, we revel in this radiant paradise. Tomorrow, we shall give up our voices and live to nourish your progeny forevermore." So it was that the cacti spoke the tongue of man no more, yet our people would continue to care for them and honor them as irreplaceable companions. It was there, alongside the bright sun and thriving cacti, that our people founded a village and lived in peace and comfort in the 1,000 tomorrows to come. In our native tongue, Ta means sun chaser, but there is no one reason as to why our people are so named. The story you just heard is but one explanation, a tale passed down through generations in my village. But ask another Tanawata, and you will hear another story. I'm not here to insist that ours is the definitive tale, but rather to say that in a small corner of this vast continent, there exists a people who believe it to be true. Weirdos. It is my hope that our stories are remembered by many, and our words carried forward into the future. Thank you. Clippity clap. That was interesting. I would be interested to see if that's actually supposed to be like parallels to the Johnny Appleseed tale. Let me just check that real quick. If it's actually what I think it is. I remember there was like a Disney thing that they did that had the story. Let's see, American Pioneer introduced trees. Yeah, who introduced trees grown with apple seeds, as opposed to trees grown with grafting, to large parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and the Canadian province of Ontario. Okay, I thought it was farther west, but okay. As well as the northern parts of Western Virginia, he became an American icon while still alive due to his kind, generous ways, his leadership and conservation, civil importance. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think that's actually quite what it's supposed to be, but anyway, let's go and talk to Wachumeqimeqi and finish this part up. What do you think? Oh, I'm still zoomed in. What do you think? That's how we usually do our recitations. Whoever has a story to tell stands up there and regales the room. I caught Pameka on the way out. Seems she can't leave her stall unattended for long. But I assume she's waiting for you there. Thank you for everything, Brilliant. I'm sure Pameka's waiting for you back at her stall. I'm sure she is. Of course, she had to leave before me. We didn't get to have any more drinks. I mean, what? Anyway, let's head back into the stall and wrap this up. Man, talking is there's a lot of talking on this stuff. These delivery quests are definitely a lot more exhausting to do than I expected, especially considering they usually seem to be about an hour and 40 minutes long, which is a bit long for a single video, but I think that's what I'm going to end up having to do because I can't really think of a way to split it up. Anyway, hello, Pameka. Wachumeqimeqi's storytelling prowess is awe-inspiring, isn't it? He set the scene without flaw. I truly felt as though I was journeying along with those cacti. Okay. Words are so peculiar, aren't they? When spoken from the soul, they can convey meaning that extends far beyond their written worth. My experiences with you and Wachumeqimeqi have opened my eyes to the true duty of the Scrivener. Is it Scrivener or Scrivener? Whatever. Too late now. Going forward, I hope to capture what I hear with more sensitivity and deeper understanding. It's not a matter of simply writing down words. It's about preserving the spirit with which they are spoken. I want to tell the people who keep saying localization should be done with AI, because they clearly don't understand this. It's about preserving the spirit which they are spoken, just like we did with our books. Because localization is not just translation, and even with just translation, there's still like slang and stuff that like you gotta understand the culture and like the context of stuff in order to actually be able to translate it well. My abilities have their limits, however. So for the tales I cannot bind alone, I hope I can count on you, Brilliant. Maybe. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the control materia. Whatever. I'm not gonna go and pull up Teamcraft to look up the gear set I'm working towards. Esteemed contributor. Pameka has gained a newfound appreciation for her craft, and she could not be happier with your efforts. She now considers you a connoisseur of covers. Haha, so funny. There are doubtless others in Wachumeqimeqi who would welcome your aid. An able artisan? Yeah. We'll get to those later. These are their stories. That's good. I forget, what's that a reference to? It's a TV show. Wow, what is it? And these are their stories. It's like, no, not the podcast. It's not Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh, Law and Order. That's it. That's the reference. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk to Pameka, and then that'll be the last all we're doing for today. With Wachumeqimeqi's commissions concluded, perhaps I should take a brief sabbatical to travel beyond the city walls. Didn't you literally do that during the quest line? Anyway. I wish to follow in my great-grandfather's footsteps, to broaden my cultural horizons and learn the countless stories our forebears have left behind. Of course, it would be remiss of me to limit my journey to Troll. I hear the city-state of Charlian is a veritable paradise of written knowledge. Well, that's an understatement. What I wouldn't give to walk amongst its vast archives. Well, I can introduce you to a couple of people if you want.